If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
First of all, I just have to say I'm sick to my stomach. I'm really feeling nauseous.
Stunned, gobsmacked.
An abomination.
Shocking.
Stunning. Genuinely stunning.
What is going on? Unbelievable.
Astonishing. Just astonishing.
He didn't even meet his own low bar for not screwing this up.
I mean, it is an absolute disgrace. It's a parody of a disgrace.
This entire week of President Trump abroad has made Hillary Clinton seem all the more prescient.
All he had to do was not, put on jammies and crawl under the covers with Vladimir Putin, and he couldn't do that.
The White House officials realize how horrified so many Americans are today.
Sounded like a horror movie trailer. This Friday in Helsinki, Trump will face off with Putin. It was not good yesterday, right? We can all agree that it was not good. It fell flat to a lot of people's ears in America on both sides of the aisle. People that wanted him, who believe in him, who want him to be a success, who are not looking at all of this Russia stuff as if Russia caused all this and that's the only reason you're president, but wanted you to go out there and say, look, you know what? I'm laying down the gauntlet, and here's what it is. And yesterday was a moment. It did. It fell flat. And the Republicans have been absolutely, a good majority of them have come out and really, really went after the president and didn't mince words. Senator Grassley said President Trump missed an opportunity to publicly press President Putin on whether he would agree to extradite the defendants to the United States to answer the allegations in court. Senator John McCain, no prior president has ever based himself more objectively before a tyrant. Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina. As Americans, we stand up for our interests and values abroad, but I fear today with a step backwards. And you can go on and on and on. There were plenty of these, and rightly so. I think once again, he fell flat.
If that is what victory looks like, as the White House said, I think we all like to know what failure looks like in a summit. That was just a shameful performance. It really was.
Yeah. It was. It was a shameful performance. Now, did it rise to treasonous and all of this stuff? No, because what you get there from the Republicans is something that you don't get. There was honesty in that. They were disappointed. Because remember, as Trump goes through this fight with Russia and the whole 9 yards of this cloud hanging over him, his candidacy and his presidency and how this all came about in the whole 9 yards, they go through it with him as well, because their party is the party in power, and he has an R by his name, and so do they. So yesterday, you got what you didn't get from the Democrats, from any of the stuff, for the red line and all that stuff from Barack Obama. You got honesty. You got political honesty yesterday. You did. Senator Lisa Murkowski, sadly, President Trump did not defend America to the Russian president and for the world to see. Instead, what I saw today was not America first. It was simply a sad diminishment of our great nation. Absolutely. I think yesterday he fell when he should have ran. He decided, I'm you know what, I'm going to change the subject. We'll talk about servers and this, that. And whenever I hear somebody defend Trump when it comes to this stuff, and look, I haven't seen the collusion. I'm still looking for it. I want to, Chad, what about the 35 indictments and the 5 guilty pleas? Show me where it's him. Because that's what this is about. If you walk away with 35 indictments, 12 of those are people that you're never going to ever see in court whatsoever because they're Russian nationals that are far away by now. If you walk away with ancillary characters, what do you have? Right? Come on. It's not really what this was all about. That's not it. Right? That's not it. That's not what it's not, right? It's not that. I'm just saying, if that's what you walk away with, that's not what this is about. And yesterday he had a chance and he failed. He did. He absolutely failed. And Newt Gingrich, who's been a huge supporter of Trump, right? A massive supporter of Trump, I think he said it best.
In the harshest rebuke from a solid Trump ally, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich tweeting, President Trump must clarify his statements in Helsinki on our intelligence system and Putin. It is the most serious mistake of his presidency and must be corrected immediately.
Yeah. And I don't know how he's going to do that. And, for all of this stuff, though, right, for all of this stuff, and I move that aside because it's going to play itself out in the coming weeks and months, and who knows, maybe a year or so still as they go through all these investigations and the indictments and the whole 9 yards, as all this plays itself out. My question has been a question I think really needs to be asked and answered by the American people, by our government, which is, how much of an influence was this really? If you're looking for an excuse, if you're looking for a reason, if you're looking for something of why this didn't go the way you thought it should have gone in November of 2016 on the left, you're going to try to do everything you can. You're going to try to do everything to justify that, right? If you're looking for something to still try to, in your mind, justify how that vile man is president, how that evil man is president, how that bad man is president, how that misogynistic pig is president. If you're reaching, you're still trying to figure it out, then yes, you know what? You're going to look everywhere you possibly can. Try to just, that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to reach, I'm going to grab, I'm doing all the things I possibly can. And they had to have huge influence. It's the only way. This is it. They had to have the biggest influence of all time. This is the most incredible thing. My question, which I think is real, that needs to be asked, that I don't hear anybody asking, because people are afraid of the answer. If the answer is yes, Russia had a massive influence on this, then we as a nation are in a lot of trouble. We as a nation are in a ton of trouble because every rogue state is going to do all they possibly can to dip their heads and toes, knees and shoulders deeper into our elections and meddle, and no longer meddle, but influence. And the right doesn't want that to be true. And if you say no, then the left has to come to the reality that it really wasn't as big a deal as we thought it was. And that reality would be she lost because she wasn't a good candidate. That's how he won. I don't think they had that kind of influence. I want to believe that while stupid is strong at times in America, and as I've said yesterday, stupid is strong everywhere, right? We like to think we have a monopoly on it. We do not. There is stupid everywhere. You go places, there is stupid. There is smart, and then there's a lot of everybody else. So you ask yourself the question, was the influence great, small, or not at all? To me, because of the fact that they were known, right? We knew what we had. We knew we had Hillary. We knew we had Trump. We knew who they were. She had a history. He had a history. His was in business and in Playboy life and all of that stuff. A New York socialite, celebrity kind of person. Hers was in politics. And this is the world of politics. So we couldn't look at his political minus givings and say, you don't really have a track record. But we know who you are. Over here, she had a track record that people could go on. She was polarizing. He was polarizing. So we had stuff that was known. So that's why I think the influence was negligible. It was so small. It was so small. Tiny. Not enough to sway the election. Because if it was that big and it was that great to sway this election, then every election from here on out, how do we trust anything? Just curious. How do we trust from here on out anything election-wise? Any bit of information, any bit of news, any bit of anything, if that influence was so great. And I think right now what we're doing is we've got a pebble in our shoe and we've decided to turn it into a boulder. Rather than take our shoe off, dump it out, put it back on, and move on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love it when you do, kids. Got a poll question up today, and it is about that. How much of an influence do you think this Russia meddling was? Did they fool America and Americans, or was it small? Right now, 50% say, 63% say we're giving them way too much credit, which I think we are. Other side of things, 29% said no, it's about right. 8% saying not enough. So it's basically 60-40 right now. Take the poll at Chad Benson Show. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
You don't want to step in doo-doo either, by the way. It's not a good thing. People are texting in. Are you serious, Chad? Do you think it had a big effect? I'm amazed that people think it had the effect that it did. I'm always amazed but that's in our minds, we make things out to be so big. And now this thing that has become, we're looking into it, trying to figure out, has become 12 rogue, espionage, intelligence officers, some people from, miscellaneous characters that played a part in, as business people. And you're stepping back going, do you really think that kind of influence? I'm just curious. And a portion of you do. A good portion of you absolutely think the influence is there enough. And it's I don't know. It makes me step back and go, So what are all the elections going to be from now? And Phil, you said something a little while ago that is, I think what a lot of people are going to do now is everybody's going to look at everything now as completely skeptical.
Oh, absolutely.
Not going to believe a thing. I don't care what you tell me, right? I want pictures. I want documentation. Do you know what it's going to be? Have you ever watched the TV show Pawn Stars, right? Most of you have seen at least an episode or two. Somebody will bring something in and goes, this is, such and such's thing from George Washington, blah, 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 blah. And the guy goes, you know what? It looks great. Kind of looks authentic, but I want to have somebody come in and look at it. And I've got an expert that can tell me if this is the real, genuine article. And that's the way it's going to be for news. You're going to look at it and stuff. You go, you know what? I believe kind of what you say, but I'm going to have somebody come in and give me a ruling on this. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me each and every day at this time. We break it down for you like it's hot. And today we're breaking it down for you in a way that is definitely cool. We're getting ahead of the game in our urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
Now, the kids and the adults, by the way, the obsession I have seen with this game is ridiculous. It's called Fortnite. And there's lingo you got to learn inside of Fortnite. Now, in your own little groups and stuff as you play, you have your own lingo, but some that everybody says now is heals. You got some heals? I mean, do you have healing material for me when you're playing the game? And the people using it in the streets now, kids, it's becoming real, man. You get a cut, you're like, I need some heals. Meaning you need a Band-Aid. Got to check this out. Fortnite is huge. Heals is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
Trump's eagerness to sell out America proves the Russians must have something, personally, politically, or financially, on President Trump.
Personally. Financially. What could it be? Who knows? You know what? But that's the beauty of life and politics and a lot of things nowadays is you can say anything you want. And you're really asking America a kind of open-ended question with no obvious answer, right? So you can just ask a question, and you're going to see what you want to see. If you believe in aliens and you see a light in the sky, you may think it's a UFO. If you're skeptical and a UFO lands in your yard, chances are you're going to say it's Hollywood. You're going to see, hear all the things you want to hear. Very few people have open-mindedness enough. And part of it is after a while, like at first you may come into it that way, but after so long, you're just completely inundated. Either you're over it or you've already made up your mind. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So, Phil, is it going to rain there tonight? Because you guys are hosting their national game. The National League team, the Nationals are hosting the All-Star game, and it might get some rain.
It rained like heck about 2 hours ago.
That would be sad if it rained out the All-Star game. But I watched a bit of it last night, and this is my thing with the All-Star game. I don't know if you've ever seen it in the Home Run Derby, and Bryce Harper won it last night. They put all these little kids in the outfield who are really not very athletic, and their age range from 10 to 9 to 11 or 12. And these guys are hitting home run ropes. And every once in a while they hit a line drive. And I'm thinking to myself, these kids are going to get roped. And it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen one day. It's going to. Plus there's 100 of them out there, and they all look up at the ball and they run and smash into each other. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It is Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
She is the darling of the left, you see. She's the absolute darling of the left. But she's running into, into an area where she's got to understand that, where she may not like the establishment. In fact, I saw a new poll today. 73% of Democrats want fresh new faces heading into 2018 election this year, but really 2020. They want real, fresh faces. I think a lot of us, both right or left, want to see that. Like, I want to see fresh, like anything else, right? You know, like anything else, I want to see fresh faces coming through, new ideas. And she's the darling of the left, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And she, you know, she went after Israel. And the left is saying, yeah, you need to calm down. You know, you just get it. You're excited. You know, you've got, you know, the media loves you. You know, you're a socialist, all of this stuff. It's great, fantastic. But you went after Israel and, you know, and you're very pro-Palestine and yeah, that's a faux pas that you're going to find out. It's probably something you don't want to do, especially the way you did it. And secondly, you've gone after capitalism. And that's the Bernies of the world are very few and far between, but the Ocasio-Cortezes of the world are going to be plenty. Right? Because Bernie was a socialist when it wasn't cool. Bernie was a socialist when there was the Soviet Union. Bernie was a socialist back in the day. She is a quote-unquote democratic socialist in a day and age where, well, you don't have the Soviet Union anymore. And we won the Cold War. When we think of socialism, we think two things. Everybody go Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark. It's kind of socialism. Or they'll say things like Venezuela. But we don't think of it, you know, I mean, outside of that, it's, and kids, right? Kids like this stuff. Well, she thinks that, you know what, capitalism it doesn't work for everybody. And you know what? Let me tell you something. It doesn't if you don't work the system. The great saying out there, I think it was Zig Ziglar, who was a great motivational speaker, a great sales guy, goes out, you know, used to go out and do all these things, just had a hilarious voice. And very Southern. So how, you know, he come from like, you know, Wallahatchie, Mississippi or something. And he used to say this, I think it was the elevator to success is out of service, but the stairs are always open. Meaning, yeah, capitalism doesn't work if you don't work the system itself, meaning you don't do something, it's not going to work for you.
Do you think that capitalism has failed to deliver for working class Americans or is no longer the best vehicle for working class Americans?
Well, you say, oh, unemployment is low, everything is fine, right? Well, unemployment is low because everyone has two jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their kids.
Is some of that true? Yeah, some of that is true. Is all of it true? No. The barely feeding your kids, look, we love to say, let us help you, right? Let us give you something. Let us do something for you, right? You're a victim. Capitalism has victimized you. It has victimized you. You're in a situation that you're in because of capitalism, it's nothing to do with you and your choices. It's because of you were born in a certain area. You struggled in life because of whatever thing they want to throw out there. But capitalism, it was never there for you. It's only for old white men, and that's it, because they understand it, and it was only set up for them to succeed. But if you go around the globe and you see the places that have gone from poverty to prosperity, that have a higher standard of living, it's capitalism. It's what it is. I mean, you can even look to the point where you look at China. China looked at the Soviet Union and said, that's going to happen to us. We got to figure something out. You know what took down the wall? Capitalism. They couldn't do it anymore. They could no longer do it. They couldn't afford. They had run out of everybody else's money, and they could no longer afford to do it. China said, hey, how about we give people financial freedom, but, you know, we'll curb the rest of it. You're finding prosperity there. You look around, Hong Kong, right? Why is Hong Kong prospering? Why is Australia prosper? Why is the UK and Europe prosper? Is it because of What? Because capitalism. Dare I even say, if you ask anybody from Denmark, right, Finland, Sweden, Norway, are you guys socialists? They'll be like, no, we're free market. We just have high taxes. We have social safety nets, which, by the way, we have social safety nets. I love how we talk about we don't have. We have tons of social safety. Do we have cradle to the grave, cover you in everything? No. But we have a plenty of social safety nets. Let's not forget that. But capitalism has taken people from poverty to prosperity. What is helping parts of Africa break out of situation? It's not socialism. It's not communism, right? It's capitalism. Well, it's not fair to everybody. Life's not fair, right? Life's not fair. Why is somebody born looking like Brad Pitt and other people born not looking like Brad Pitt? Why does somebody love basketball, but they're 5'0" and then there's somebody like LeBron James? Right? Why? Same passion, same love. It's not fair. What are we to do? Are we to regulate everybody? Say, okay, here's the deal. Everybody's got to have somebody on the team. It's not very good, but has a love of the game. No, it doesn't work that way. You decide, okay, I can't be a basketball player, but I can be a GM. I can be a coach. Still within the realm of doing something with the thing I love. But this is the hand I was dealt.
And so I do think that right now, when we have this no-holds-barred, Wild West hyper-capitalism, what that means is profit at any cost.
Those days are long gone. Do people want to profit? Yeah. Are there some cheats out there? Absolutely. Usually at a much smaller level than people believe. Especially when you look at the amounts of money that governments and everything and everybody else spends. Yeah. Are profits important? Yeah. They hold themselves. Look, you're hired based on what you're going to bring to something. And if you're a CEO, right? If you're any one of these people that are in charge of running some of these big corporations, which I want to remind everybody is a small drop in the hat bucket compared to small business in this country. But it's about wins and losses, right? You hire a manager in baseball or football or something. It's about wins and losses. And that's what it's about. Yeah, and when they win, they're rewarded handsomely for it. And when they lose, they're shown the door.
Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world.
Yes, it will, until we find something better. And something better is not let's give everybody everything they want and tell everybody as we take it from them, the only reason you have this is because of everybody else. Not because you worked hard. It was only because of luck and everybody else, and we'll spread it out. It doesn't work that way. You want to transfer something real, you want to transfer something vital to people who struggle on that poverty line. Don't give them hope with a handout. Give them knowledge on how to get out of the position they're in. That's it. Give them knowledge of how to get out of the position they're in. That's it. You do that, they can fill up their gas tank on their own. You do that, they can grow on their own. You do that, they can do all of those things on their own. Which is what you should want. But when these people, I'm always skeptical. People's like, well, I champion for the poor. I don't. I would, you know what? If somebody came to me and says, Chad, could you mentor me? Could you help me with something? I will give them all the knowledge I have. I got no problem with that. I will help. But am I going to champion for the poor? No. Sometimes it's the knowledge they need, not the handout of hope. Doesn't work. Because you know what's going to happen? They're going to come back again and go, yeah, the hope you gave me didn't go as far as I thought it was going to go. What else you got back there? Do you have any knowledge? Any understanding? Anything? And by the way, Sometimes the handout of hope and the knowledge isn't going to cause somebody to make it better in life. Sometimes it's personal choice. And sometimes there is a ceiling to what some people are going to be able to do. All of us know somebody where we're like, this is as good as it's going to get for them. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We have a question today, and it is very interesting when we talk about the whole Russia thing, because today the social media giants were all on Capitol Hill having, their hearings because they're getting talked to.
We're committed to working with Congress to ensure the integrity of our elections. We've undertaken a wide range of approaches, including a suite of tools called Protect Your Election that we've been using in our outreach to campaigns.
And that's somebody from Facebook. But here's my question to you is, and we touched a bit on it yesterday, but I'm delving deeper into it today, is, are we giving Russia way too much credit for the kind of influence that they supposedly wielded during this past 2016 election, this presidential? Because I think we are. I used the analogy earlier. We've taken a pebble in the shoe that's an annoyance and that needs to be dealt with, and we've turned it into a boulder. And I think if we are at the point now where this is an issue, isn't every election going forward now, based on all of this stuff and this craziness that surrounded this, going to be an issue? Because everybody else is going to see, man, it's not that hard. You need 12 good guys and some guys that can hack. You could just basically take down their elections and make them all stand around going, I'm not quite sure if that was fake news. And even if they're looking for it, doesn't mean they're going to find it. I think we've blown this up. What do you think? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter today. Man, I should be like a NASCAR driver with Dollar Shave Club all over, because that's today. That was me today. Toothpaste, toothbrush, razor, shower gel, shampoo, conditioner, hair gel, all Dollar Shave Club. Top shelf ingredients, amazing products, not going to break your budget. And get ready for this. $5. You can join, become a member today. Free shipping. Boom. If you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want to smell good, this is what it is about. And their stuff is amazing. It really is. This is what I want you to do. Go there now, dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. Check it out. Sign up. Use my code. You're going to get their Daily Essentials Starter Set. Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, Dr. Carver Shave Butter, which is awesome, and the Executive Razor, which is just incredible. You are not going to be disappointed at all. And it's $5 to join. You can become a member today. Shipping is free. And I want to tell you, the Body Cleanser is really, really good. They have Calming Body Cleanser, and it is amazing. Throw that in, but also get some of their hair products. Their hair products are so incredible. $5 to join today. $5. That's it. dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. You will not be disappointed. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. Crazy shootout in Vegas. We'll touch on that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
So, cops, they do something wrong, and we hear about it nonstop. There's marching in the streets. And look, we absolutely have to police our police. I've got zero problems with it. I just think, like everything else, it becomes what seems to be a pebble in our shoe, and we make it out to be this thing that's insane. And it's a boulder. Oh, it's a lava rock. But we don't ever give them any kudos in situations where they have to go above and beyond. And even if we do, very rarely is it talked about the way that the bad is talked about. Case in point this. I want you to listen to this audio. This is a police officer in Las Vegas who is in pursuit of two gang members who have fatally shot somebody earlier in the morning. He is chasing them. They are firing at him, and he is now firing back through his windshield into their vehicle.
Get down!
Now, that went on for minutes before that very end right there. Officer William Umana, 17-year vet, fired his weapon inside his vehicle to shoot back at the suspects. The suspects earlier in the morning apparently were wanted for killing somebody at a car wash. They were spotted 2 hours later when the pursuit took off. Police identified Fidel Miranda, 22, and Rene Nunez, 30. He died at the hospital from his gunshot wounds. Nunez was booked into Clark County detention. Both suspects have huge criminal records. They both had nicknames, gang names. Open murder with a deadly weapon, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder with a deadly weapon, carrying a concealed weapon, discharging a firearm from a moving vehicle, prohibited person with a firearm, just to name a few on this. They've got kidnapping charges before this. They've had assault with a deadly weapon, robbery, larceny. These guys had a long list. And this guy chased them through Vegas to a school where they were headed because the car had issues after being shot. And it was amazing because everybody else had kind of backed off, and this guy continued to go because he knew how dangerous they were. They were shooting at him. He was driving with his knees at one time, both hands on the gun, shooting through his own windshield. You've got to check it out. It happened last week, and this is his body cam, and it shows you, yeah, you know what? You won't hear much about this. Very few people will talk about it, but the reality is they're human beings, but they do go above and beyond in so many ways that we don't know about every day. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Take the poll question today. Do you think Russia really had a massive influence and fooled all of us? Or are we making more out of it? Take the poll question at Chad Benson Show. You can text us as well. 323-538-2423. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
First of all, I just have to say I'm sick to my stomach. I'm really feeling nauseous.
To my stomach.
An abomination.
Shocking. Stunning.
Genuinely stunning.
What is going on?
Unbelievable.
Astonishing. Just astonishing.
He didn't even meet his own low bar for not screwing this up.
I mean, it is an absolute disgrace. It's a parody of a disgrace.
This entire week of President Trump abroad has made Hillary Clinton seem all the more prescient.
All he had to do was not, put on jammies and crawl under the covers with Vladimir Putin, and he couldn't do that.
Do White House officials realize how horrified so many Americans are today?
Abomination! Devilish, evil, sellout, blah, 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 blah. You know why all of that was going on yesterday, and the craziness and the lunacy and the overreaction of everyone in their Shakespearean way? I've never seen anything like this in the history of like this. Have I seen a man who preaches making America great again, showing strength, being so weak? Oh, God. While all of that was going on, this was happening right here.
With a strong job market, inflation close to our objective, and the risks to the outlook roughly balanced, the FOMC believes that, for now, the best way forward is to keep gradually raising the federal funds rate.
Now, while that is boring and not as exciting as I can't believe he did such things, And you got Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, going, well, all of this is happening. Inflation seems to be staying steady. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction. And we have a very, very good job market.
With appropriate monetary policy, the job market will remain strong and inflation will stay near 2% over the next several years.
Well, all of that happening, that was going on. Why does that matter? Because come November time, we will have had 65 new dramas, traumas, and some tragedies along the way that people will lose their mind about. And this will all be but a memory. Because we have the attention span of a gnat. But that boring stuff right there from Jerome Powell, which is boring. It's like just boring. No offense to Jerome. I'm sure he's a great guy, right? That says the economy's good. Yeah, that's what that says.
Americans who want jobs have a good chance of finding them. Moreover, wages are growing a little faster than they did a few years ago. That said, they are still not rising as fast as in the years before the crisis. One explanation could be that productivity growth has been low in recent years.
Jobs are there. People want them. Wages are going up, not fast as we like them, but they're still improving. The taxes have not helped as much as they probably would have, but we've got a rising price of oil and whatnot. And, so it's hurt a little bit more at the pump. But the reality is job market's good. Economy's moving forward. We're going to see some numbers, I think, this last quarter that are going to surprise a lot of us. When we go into that ballot box in November, make no mistake, Trump is on the ballot, whether you believe that or not. Trump is on the ballot. Oh, his name's not there, but everybody's got an R by his name. A good portion of them? Yeah. Trump's hanging over them. So while they may go, oh, this is evil, this is bad, this is crazy, I've never seen anything as diabolical as this, and they scream and they shout from the top of the mountaintops that they're on. And they're high, mighty horses. Well, all of that is happening. People go to the ballot box and go, okay, see here. Oh, yeah. My life's doing all right now. I don't know if I really want to derail that. Check. Because we still vote with our pocketbook. All the other stuff. It's funny when I see what, voters really care about this. Voters really care about that. You know what voters care about? Whatever's in it for them. But as a collective, right? You have a top five. Stuff will go up and down in the top five. Stuff will fall out. Global warming, pro-choice, pro-life. It'll fall in and out. All that stuff will happen. Right? Immigration, education. You know what's the one that's a constant? Economy. It's a constant. It's not going anywhere. We'll still vote that way. We can say all those other things, but the reality is we're still going to go in there and go, I don't know if I want to derail this right here. And between now and November, which is a very short time in reality, but in politics, it's forever. The amount of things that are going to happen that are going to be insane and crazy that this media world, the establishment media, the Fox Newses, the MSNBCs, and all of them are going to battle over, scream about. It's going to be, God, too many to count. But in the end, you ask yourself, you feel a little bit better. Is the economy working for you a little bit more? Do you feel like you have some more job security? Do you feel like you know what? I'm ready to take that step. I'm ready to start my business. I say for a lot of you out there, yeah, absolutely. So while the rest of it is vitally important, I want to know what happened. I want to know what kind of influence they think we really had. They had on us in our election. I want to know all of these things. I think we have a right as Americans to know. And if something was done untoward with Trump and the Russians and it was real and he ordered, he knew it and the whole 9 yards and all this stuff, then yeah, there needs to be repercussions, 110%. But until that time, this is what we got. So while that guy may be boring, what he's saying is it's working. Things are going okay. And then some. Jobs are out there. Wage growth, not where we want it to be, but it is actually growing. And I have a feeling this next GDP is going to be a little bit of an eye-opener for a lot of people. So that's what we care about. Despite all of the other stuff, despite all of the screaming, despite all of the yelling, despite all of...
Yesterday, the president sided with the enemy who made an assault on our democracy.
Despite all of that, we're still going to go to the ballot box with the 50 tragedies, dramas, craziness, fake news, not fake news, all of the lunacy that's going to happen between now and then. With the thing that's going to sit utmost on our mind is, how am I right now? Right? Like, am I okay? Is my life a little bit better? Did that money coming back from the taxes do okay? Do I feel like life is good? Do I feel more stable? That's what people are going to think. Now, you're going to have outliers, some people that only vote pro-choice. They don't care. They don't care if the rest of the world falls apart as long as they have a chance to choose. Some people are going to vote pro-life. They don't care if the world falls apart as long as it's pro-life. But in the end, the one thing that all of us participate in is what? The economy. And Jerome Powell, while not as exciting as so many of these people out there that love to have Trump derangement syndrome, and like I've said over and over, I was not happy with the way he handled things yesterday, and they come out and they say things like this, Jeff Flake.
If that is what victory looks like, as the White House said, I think we all like to know what failure looks like in a summit. That was just a shameful performance. It really was.
Yeah, it was. I'll agree on that. I was not happy with it. I said that yesterday. But in the end, if you have 3.5%, 4% GDP, if the economy is moving forward at a fast clip and essentially the shackles have been taken off and we're starting to roll and people are finding better jobs and more opportunities, they're stepping out, they're spending a bit more money, things are happening, people will put all that other stuff aside as just noise. That's it. And here's the other side of that. If none of that stuff existed and the economy was in the dumpers, he'd be in trouble for that. That's the reality of it for so many of us, because we live our life day to day, and this stuff that we see on the television, if we ever watch it, if we read on Facebook, or we see it on any of these 1 to a million different websites that are just whatever side of the aisle you're on, in the end, it's about our world. And our world revolves around us. And that economy plays a huge part in this. So for all the screaming, the yelling, the craziness, the, oh my God, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of mankind.
The president is putting himself over our country.
For all of that, the economy still wins. And until that cools to the point where that noise becomes a roar, I'm just letting you know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I want to talk to you about a company that I've partnered with that I think you should too. And I'm going to tell you how much it costs to join. $0. It is free. How much is free? 0 plus 0 is 0. Well, what is this company? Well, they share your values. They want the same thing you do. Right? You want immigration reform? Yeah, I like that. Like real immigration reform? Yeah. Medicare reform? Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Oh, Social Security? Yeah, all those things are good. Yeah. And the same way I feel about some of the things we should be doing? Oh, yeah. They advocate on your behalf. But here's the other thing that I think is amazing. Take all of that away. 40% off movie tickets. Access to dental savings plans that are amazing. Save you 60%. Oh, how about this, kids? 40% off the theme parks like Disneyland, SeaWorld, Legoland. Oh, yeah, kids. And there's more. Discounts on hotel bookings, rental cars, travel, retail, restaurant. And did I mention it was free? That's what AMAC gives you. Free. Opportunity to join is now. That's what I want you to do. If you're over 50, go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. Sign up for free. They don't want your credit card. There's no cost. There's no tricks. Nothing from you. They just want you to sign up. All right? That's what I'm doing for you guys. I think they're a great company. I think they've got things going for them that we in this country need. And the discounts are amazing. So go to amac.us/Chad or call 888-355-1668. That's 888-355-1668 or amac.us/Chad. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Are you PC and groupthink brainwashed? Time for a double detox shot of Chad.
Love or hate, text or tweet the program. America, you're in danger, girl. Hey, at Chad Benson Show. He's blanking the economy to dope. Let me introduce you to the tariffs. Yeah. And what did I say there, if anybody listens to everything? If the economy goes to hell, even if he was pristine, even if there was nothing, but people loved him as a human being, and the economy died a horrible death, he's going to pay the price for that. And the tariffs may hurt. I don't think they're forever. But they may hurt. That is the reality, though. Because so many of us, for the last 8-9 years, have struggled. So many people have struggled. And that now that things are going, and it seems to be going in the right direction, people are like, I'm not going to mess with something that's moving in that direction. If it goes the other direction, the noise gets louder and louder. That is the reality of this. Whether people want to believe that or not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So you have a textbook and you're in college and you read some of this.
Every freshman at UNC Chapel Hill is required to take a fitness class that comes with an online textbook called 21st Century Wellness. That's where they'll read paragraphs describing heart disease, dementia, and cancer as diseases of choice. Students have noticed these scientifically dubious claims.
It's a very, very unfortunate disease, and I don't think that we should be calling people who have cancer and saying that it's their fault.
The text, written by professors of exercise science at Brigham Young University, also says people who died in the Holocaust didn't tap into their inner strengths or gave up. UNC says it'll review the textbook.
Now, I'm about positive thinking. I absolutely am. The power of positive thinking, I think, is huge. I think we know so much about the moon. We're finding out more and more about space. We're exploring all over the oceans. We're just now tapping into the ocean in a real way. We know so very little about the mind and the power of what the mind can do. But I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to say, not quite sure that cancer and some of these other things are choices. Right? Now, I think you can attack certain things in a better attitude. I think if you think you're always going to be sick, there's a good chance you're going to get sick. 100%. I believe that. And then when you talk about the Holocaust, like, they didn't really, like if Anthony Robbins showed up, that's all they needed to free him. No, I don't think so. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love or hate. I'm good with that. Here's my thing with the love or hate, right? You don't like what I say. I'm okay with that. We don't have to agree on everything. I think you'd find out there's probably a lot of things we do agree on. But you don't have to be a jaggle about it, right? You can say, I disagree with you on that, and we move on. I got into a discussion last night with a guy where it started out kind of south, and then I texted him back a few times because I handle all my own social media and the texting and not. And by the end of it, he's like, yeah, I see your point. Yeah, and I'm sorry I started that way. It's that simple, right? You know, what I see nowadays with social media is we start out like, I'm going to punch you right in the nuts, and then that's it. And then I want you to fire back at me. And it's silly. It's ridiculous. Take a deep breath. Have a conversation. That's it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Paul Bonicelli is going to join us straight ahead. Used to work for W in the State Department. We're going to talk about yesterday's missteps and the things that he thinks, some of our allies are going to be looking at through this. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I remain astonished that the president would choose to believe the assertions by President Putin over the unanimous conclusions of his own U.S. intelligence leaders and the bipartisan conclusions of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Oh, Susan Collins right there. I always feel like we should help her, like she's struggling, like something's going on, but we're not quite sure what it is. Yesterday, Trump hung out in the Helsinki, sat down with the Pooter, and then went out for what I deem to be kind of a disastrous press conference. Joining us now, former State Department member under President George W. Bush, Paul Bonicelli joins us, and in Memphis eating some barbecue. That was kind of, can we just all agree that was a bit of disaster yesterday, Paul?
Yeah, I think it was really not good for him, not good for what he's trying to do. And it's the one thing that he's not supposed to do, which is to look weak or look like he lost. And he did. And he did it against the guy who takes every single advantage he can to look like the winner and the other guy the loser.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you've got a piece today in the Federalist. Trump's meeting with Putin was a missed opportunity for U.S. interest. What do you mean for U.S. interest?
Well, I think the problem that the president has here, and this is, I'm a supporter of the president. I've been applauding him. You read my piece, you see how much I say a lot of the things he's been doing are great. But the one thing I think he doesn't understand is Putin is weak. He has nothing but bullying and braggadocio and cowing his neighbors and getting people to defer to him. And so all Trump had to do was be both tough and gracious, and he would have won the day. Because Putin's goal is to disrupt our influence in the world. It's that simple. So that answers your question. Putin wants to influence the world the way he wants to see it. We shouldn't want that. And Donald Trump's got to read him better than that.
Yeah. Oh, and I felt the opportunity. Like, and I said this yesterday, look, we don't know what behind closed doors, what it looked like. He may have said, look, I'm going to come over here if you screw up again, and I'm going to break every Fabergé egg, every nesting doll you guys have ever had, everything I'm going to destroy if you don't stop this crap. It might have happened that way, Paul, and then outside he was gracious, but the reality is what we saw, because there was a message, I think, that needed to be sent to the American public. That's where the opportunity really went south for the president.
Yeah, I mean, there's two audiences. There's the American people, there's our allies, there are our other enemies who need to see us say that we will not tolerate anything that is a threat to us, particularly on the sovereignty of the American people. You're right, behind closed doors, it should have been said very tough. But publicly, it needed to be said, too, in a way that allowed Putin to save some face, but put him on notice, because all Putin wanted out of that press conference was to look like the tough guy who won, and that Trump deferred to him, and that's what it looked like. So our enemies are encouraged and our friends are discouraged. That's not the way to do foreign policy.
No, it's not. Former State Department under George W. Bush, Paul Bonicelli joins us right now. He's got a piece in the Federalist, a great piece. Trump meeting with Putin was a missed opportunity for U.S. interest. You know, this is one thing that I think we're missing out on that nobody's touching on, but my little dog and pony show is, Paul, is the fact that I think we're giving Russia way too much credit for the kind of influence that the media and a lot of other people think that they had on the election. And to me, I look at that, and that only emboldens them and other nations to take a crack at it.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Trump's critics have taken advantage of this to, in their view, prove treason, prove that Putin has something on him, and prove that he doesn't take seriously someone who stole an election away from Hillary Clinton. Well, all of that is absurd on its face. Everybody meddles in other people's elections. We've done it. They've done it. The difference is we are trying to support our friends in the world, and he's supporting his. His friends are awful. He wants to do terrible things. So, yeah, we should never make it look like he achieved some great feat by meddling in this election. But at the same time, you let him know we won't tolerate his influence and his meddling at all. And again, it goes back to the perceptions. Putin lives on the perception of being tough, and therefore he can do the bad stuff he does in the world. You threaten to punch him in the nose, give him a little bit of a fat lip, he's going to shrink away. Every Soviet and Russian leader always shrunk away if they saw us bow up.
And you know what? That is, you know, he likes the tough guy. He respects the tough guy. He respects a lot of those qualities. And yesterday, it felt like Trump had a chance to play chess with him, and he decided, I'm going to play checkers. And that is, to me, where the opportunity was really missed, because I do think he's a bully. The fact is that Russia, while it's trying to emerge out of everything, I think Trump sometimes looks at somebody like you know, him and says, God, I wish I could do the same thing to the press that you do. And but, you know, he doesn't want to be a despot like him, but he kind of likes that stuff. And why he was the way he was yesterday just really befuddles me.
Yeah, no, me too. I think that he likes when foreign leaders praise him, and okay, that's fine. It's good to have foreign leaders like you, but you have to know who they are and why they're praising you. And I just, me above all, Chad, am really surprised at how this happened. I never expected Donald Trump to let Putin get a win this way, and I only hope he doesn't overcorrect when he finally decides I got to fix this somehow. And I hope he does. I think Speaker Gingrich is right that the president needs to do and say things that show that he did not lose, he did not kowtow, he did not defer.
You know, one of the things I've heard people say, Paul, talking to Paul Bonicelli from, he was with the George W. Bush administration at the State Department. It's got a great article today in the Federalist called Trump's Meeting with Putin Was a Missed Opportunity for U.S. Interest. Is Trump came out and said he told me he didn't do it. But one thing he didn't clarify afterwards is, but I don't believe what he told me. And I think that's where he needs to make really come out and say it. Although for me, I look at it as it's still a missed opportunity. He may have told you that and you may not believe, but you should have said it yesterday. And everything from here is going to look more like damage control than anything else.
Oh, yeah. The only thing that really helps Trump climb back is to continue the very strong and appropriate actions he has taken against Vladimir Putin. Nobody has been as tough on Putin as Trump has, and that is why Putin desperately wants a better relationship. So I hope he keeps up the firm actions. I think he could take a few choice words. You know, one of the ways to be gracious with a foreign leader when you're telling him something he doesn't want to hear is you generalize. You don't say in public, you did this to us, and if you do it again, I'm going to destroy you. You say, we take very seriously this kind of action, and from any quarter, we will deal with it as it should. Now, I know the president and I don't agree on whether or not he did it, but that's in the past. I'm president now, and I won't tolerate it. And then you move on to the next topic. He can do that. He's a master of doing that.
And we as a nation, as we all know, I mean, we're masters of moving on because we have the attention span of a gnat. And moving forward, Paul, this, you know, what kind of ramifications are going to come potentially in November because of this looming over the president. And you know, to me, I look at this and I'm like, this is just a Monday, Tuesday. We're still weeks and months away from the election, and we're going to have 65 other traumas and dramas between now and then.
Yeah, I don't think it has to have any lasting damage, and I certainly don't see it having to have any result or affect the midterm elections. Unless the president doubles down and keeps making an issue of it, he should let it go, other than to say something firm and move on. It doesn't have to. To me, he rose to the bait yesterday of his critics at home that say you didn't win fairly. And I think he needs to let that go because no one really, first of all, most people don't care. And second of all, most people don't believe that. So let it go. Yeah. Focus on the economy. Focus on all the wonderful things he's doing. And it doesn't have to have an impact. He could make it have an impact if he doesn't play it right.
If you're sitting around and you're Merkel, you're Theresa May, you're Macron, or any of these others, and you're watching this after just literally the week before, you're sitting there saying Russia's holding you hostage, and then you go and do this yesterday. What are you thinking?
Well, the first thing they're doing is they're smiling and laughing and probably high-fiving because they got really rough treatment from him, and they're glad to see that, he's sort of down on his luck in his PR image. But you are also thinking about what you said, Chad, that, now, wait a minute, why are we getting only sticks and Putin gets only carrots? That's not right. Who does he really want to be allied with? And while I don't think much of Europe's military abilities and NATO needs a retooling, we do need to have Europe sometimes. We do need to have allies sometimes. And I don't want the president to have done anything that makes it harder for those folks to do what's in their own interest, which is to join with us when we need to be together.
Talking to Paul Bonicelli, former State Department under George W. Bush, joins us today as we talk about yesterday's Helsinki summity thing. All said and done, I've said this, and I was talking about this earlier today with one of my producers, Paul, is no matter what happens, whether it's 2 more years or it's a total of 6 more years this president has left, this is something that will always cloud his presidency no matter what. And it's going to be frustrating. And he's got to learn at some point in time that much like with President Bush and the hanging chads in Florida, you have to let it go because you can't let it eat you up. And I think it's eating him up.
I think you're right. Whether it's the root issue, which is people saying he didn't win fairly, and now what he did with regard to Putin, he is the one in control of this. If he will let it go, rise above it, focus on his successes. I'm not asking him to fundamentally change. I think his tweeting, I think his toughness, I think his blunt talk has all been very effective. But focus it on the things that people care about, that people can celebrate, that even his critics have to admit and mumble, he's got a point there. Do all of that. Let go of the mean girls criticizing you. Who cares?
Yeah. Last question. Appreciate you coming on today, Paul. The Pooter. I call him the Pooter. He is a meddler, and not just in elections. He's a meddler around the globe. Where do we and for that the rest of Europe and the world go with Putin? Because he wants to be at the big table, and he sees Kim Jong-un get to have the meeting and sit down at the big table, and he's frustrated because he didn't feel like he's getting that kind of respect. And he knows he's got half the world's nuclear weapons. So where's the rest of the world going to go with the Pooter?
Well, you describe it correctly. Vladimir Putin, personally as well as his country, have a self-esteem deficit. They always think that they should be more highly regarded than they are. And being nothing more than a gas company with a UN seat, there's not a lot they can do to lead the world other than to be aggressive and be bullies and demand that people respect them and pay attention to them. Okay, that's fine. We can pay attention to them, but they don't get to set all the rules about how we pay attention to them. There's a certain kind of normal nation that we expect to be leading the world, and they don't all have to be exactly like us, but certain norms have to be respected, and that's what we should demand of him. And I just want to reemphasize this. This is a guy who can't take a punch. You don't rule in Russia if you look weak. So you threaten him with looking weak, he's going to get in line. And you do it gracefully. You don't push him over the edge, but you can do that. And that's what I expected Trump to do, and I think that's what Trump needs to learn to do. And he'll succeed.
Absolutely. He's got a great article in the Federalist. Trump's meeting with Putin was the missed opportunity for U.S. interest. Paul Bonicelli, appreciate you coming on today. Look forward to talking again soon, man. This was fun. Let's do it again.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Thanks. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. What do you think? Poll question of the day. It's simple. You think we're giving Russia too much credit for the kind of influence they had on our election? Good portion you're saying, yeah, we're giving them too much credit. Some people say it's about right. So what do you say? You can tweet at me, at Chad Benson Show, text the program, or you can take the Twitter poll or check it out on Facebook as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You call it ridiculous. We call it reality with a twist. Say what?
Say what? So that soccer team that got rescued, the Wild Boars, these were the young Thai soccer team that was stuck down in the cave for, 2+ weeks or so? 18 days, to be exact. They were rescued not only by Thai Navy SEALs, but an international cave diving experts helped. Anesthesiologist Richard Harris and his diving partner Craig Shallon, both who are cave diving experts, actually helped in bringing the kids out. But they wouldn't help unless they were given diplomatic immunity. Just in case something went crazy and something bad happened, and they didn't want to be basically popped. So the Thai government and the Australian government had a big negotiation, and they came to some sort of agreement, and apparently they were vital in helping these kids get out, because this is what they do for fun. And because, look, you may be a great expert when it comes to ocean diving and stuff like that, but cave diving is totally different. And these guys apparently are some of the best in the world, and they were able to assist in that. And also having a doctor there is probably not the worst thing in the world, but very interesting that they needed diplomatic immunity before they would say, yeah, I'll do that. The World Cup is over, and now we're finding out who's getting paid what. So here's how the list breaks down. $8 million goes to the teams that didn't get out of the first round. So the team itself gets $8 million. Go to the federation. How they divvy it up, I'm not quite sure how they go from there. The teams that got out of the round, like Portugal, Argentina, Mexico, Japan, Spain, Denmark, Switzerland, Colombia, they reached the round of 16, but they didn't go any further. They got $12 million. Uruguay, Brazil, Russia, Sweden, quarterfinalists got $16 million. Now, from there, you got England. They came in fourth. They got $22 million. Belgium, third, 24. Croatia, runner-up, 28. And France gets a cool $38 million as the winner. And I don't know how they divvy out the money. I'm assuming France is going to get a little bit. Each one of them, I wouldn't be surprised, gets $1 million. But hey, good work, right? Not bad if you can make it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. MyPillow is amazing. You too should have MyPillow, but not MyPillow, not Chad's pillow, but your own MyPillow. 100% machine washable, made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty, and 100% machine dryable. It helps me sleep like there's no tomorrow. I am feeling fresher. I am bouncy. You'd be surprised how bouncy I am, and I'm a pretty bouncy kind of character. But I am sleeping like I haven't slept in years. And I'll tell you what, I didn't have my MyPillow last night, and it showed. It showed. Not make that mistake again. Traveled last night. Tonight, I have my MyPillow, and I'm excited about it. Right now, they're giving you a BOGO. That is buy one, get one free. All right? And all you got to do is go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson, or call 800-944-4975. It will really change the way you sleep, and trust me, when you start to get enough sleep and you start to sleep deep enough, when you wake up, you feel refreshed, you're more energetic, you're more raring to go. It is incredible. Buy one, get one free. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Benson, or call 800-944-4975. 800-944-4975. Use the promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet your love, your hate, your indifference. Text the program as well, 323-538-2423. It is World Emoji Day. How about those apples, kids? We've got a poll question. Are we giving Russia too much credit for the influence they had on the 2016 election? 71% says too much credit. 19% said, no, it's about right. 10% said not enough. Take the poll at Chad Benson Show on Facebook as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's The Chad Benson Show.
First of all, I just have to say I'm sick to my stomach. I'm really feeling nauseous.
Stunned, gobsmacked.
An abomination.
Shocking. Stunning.
Genuinely stunning.
What is going on?
Unbelievable.
Astonishing. Just astonishing.
He didn't even meet his own low bar for not screwing this up.
I mean, it is an absolute disgrace. It's a parody of a disgrace.
This entire week of President Trump abroad has made Hillary Clinton seem all the more prescient.
All he had to do was not, put on jammies and crawl under the covers with Vladimir Putin, and he couldn't do that.
Do White House officials realize how horrified so many Americans are today?
Sounded like a horror movie trailer. This Friday in Helsinki, Trump will face off with Putin. It was not good yesterday, all right? We can all agree that it was not good. It fell flat to a lot of people's ears in America on both sides of the aisle. People that wanted him, who believe in him, who want him to be a success, who are not looking at all of this Russia stuff as if Russia caused all this and that's the only reason you're president, but wanted you to go out there and say, look, you know what? I'm laying down the gauntlet and here's what it is. And yesterday was a moment. It did. It fell flat. And the Republicans have been absolutely, a good majority of them have come out and really, really went after the president and didn't mince words. Senator Grassley said President Trump missed an opportunity to publicly press President Putin on whether he would agree to extradite the defendants to the United States to answer the allegations in court. Senator John McCain, no prior president has ever based himself more objectively before a tyrant. Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina. As Americans, we stand up for our interests and values abroad, but I fear today with a step backwards. And you can go on and on and on. There were plenty of these, and rightly so. I think once again, he fell flat.
If that is what victory looks like, as the White House said, I think we all like to know what failure looks like in a summit. That was just a shameful performance. It really was.
Yeah. It was. It was a shameful performance. Now, did it rise to treasonous and all of this stuff? No, because what you get there from the Republicans is something that you don't get. There was honesty in that. They were disappointed. Because remember, as Trump goes through this fight with Russia and the whole 9 yards of this cloud hanging over him, his candidacy and his presidency and how this all came about in the whole 9 yards, they go through it with him as well, because their party is the party in power and he has an R by his name, and so do they. So yesterday you got what you didn't get from the Democrats, from any of the stuff, for the red line and all that stuff from Barack Obama. You got honesty. You got political honesty yesterday. You did. Senator Lisa Murkowski, sadly, President Trump did not defend America to the Russian president and for the world to see. Instead, what I saw today was not America first. It was simply a sad diminishment of our great nation. Absolutely. I think yesterday he fell when he should have ran. He decided, I'm you know what, I'm going to change the subject. We'll talk about servers and this, that. And whenever I hear somebody defend Trump when it comes to this stuff, and look, I haven't seen the collusion. I'm still looking for it. I want to, Chad, what about the 35 indictments and the 5 guilty pleas? Show me where it's him. Because that's what this is about. If you walk away with 35 indictments, 12 of those are people that you're never going to ever see in court whatsoever because they're Russian nationals that are far away by now. If you walk away with ancillary characters, what do you have? Right? Come on. It's not really what this was all about. That's not it. Right? That's not it. That's not what it's not, right? It's not that. I'm just saying, if that's what you walk away with, That's not what this is about. And yesterday he had a chance and he failed. He did. He absolutely failed. And Newt Gingrich, who's been a huge supporter of Trump, right? A massive supporter of Trump, I think he said it best.
In the harshest rebuke from a solid Trump ally, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich tweeting, President Trump must clarify his statements in Helsinki on our intelligence system and Putin. It is the most serious mistake of his presidency and must be corrected immediately.
Yeah. And I don't know how he's going to do that. And, for all of this stuff, though, right, for all of this stuff, and I move that aside because it's going to play itself out in the coming weeks and months, and who knows, maybe a year or so still as they go through all these investigations and the indictments and the whole 9 yards, as all this plays itself out. My question has been a question I think really needs to be asked and answered by the American people, by our government, which is, how much of an influence was this really? If you're looking for an excuse, if you're looking for a reason, if you're looking for something of why this didn't go the way you thought it should have gone in November of 2016 on the left, you're going to try to do everything you can. You're going to try to do everything to justify that, right? If you're looking for something to still try to, in your mind, justify how that vile man is president, how that evil man is president, how that bad man is president, how that misogynistic pig is president. If you're reaching, you're still trying to figure it out, then yes, you know what? You're going to look everywhere you possibly can. Try to just, that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to reach and I'm going to grab. I'm doing all the things I possibly can. And they had to have a huge influence. It's the only way. This is it. They had to have the biggest influence of all time. This is the most incredible thing. My question, which I think is real, that needs to be asked, that I don't hear anybody asking, because people are afraid of the answer. If the answer is yes, Russia had a massive influence on this, then we as a nation are in a lot of trouble. We as a nation are in a ton of trouble because every rogue state is going to do all they possibly can to dip their heads and toes, knees and shoulders deeper into our elections and meddle, and no longer meddle, but influence. And the right doesn't want that to be true. And if you say no, then the left has to come to the reality that it really wasn't as big a deal as we thought it was. And that reality would be she lost because she wasn't a good candidate. That's how he won. I don't think they had that kind of influence. I want to believe that while stupid is strong at times in America, and as I've said yesterday, stupid is strong everywhere, right? We like to think we have a monopoly on it. We do not. There is stupid everywhere. You go places, there is stupid. There is smart, and then there's a lot of everybody else. So you ask yourself the question, was the influence great, small, or not at all? To me, because of the fact that they were known, right? We knew what we had. We knew we had Hillary. We knew we had Trump. We knew who they were. She had a history. He had a history. His was in business and in Playboy life and all of that stuff, a New York socialite, celebrity kind of person. Hers was in politics. And this is the world of politics. So we couldn't look at his political minus givings and say, you don't really have a track record. But we know who you are. Over here, she had a track record that people could go on. She was polarizing. He was polarizing. So we had stuff that was known. So that's why I think the influence was negligible. It was so small. It was so small. Tiny. Not enough to sway the election. Because if it was that big and it was that great to sway this election, then every election from here on out, how do we trust anything? Just curious. How do we trust from here on out anything election-wise? Any bit of information, any bit of news, any bit of anything, if that influence was so great. And I think right now what we're doing is we've got a pebble in our shoe and we've decided to turn it into a boulder. Rather than take our shoe off, dump it out, put it back on, and move on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love it when you do, kids. Got a poll question up today, and it is about that. How much of an influence do you think this Russia meddling was? Did they fool America and Americans, or was it small? Right now, 50% say, 63% say we're giving them way too much credit, which I think we are. Other side of things, 29% said no, it's about right. 8% saying not enough. So it's basically 60-40 right now. Take the poll at Chad Benson Show. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So I have traded all kinds of things in my life. You know, one time, this is really weird. And I was working for a company. And when I was working for him, I had a client who wanted to trade milk and shrimp on the commodities exchange. And I said, all right, there's not a lot of liquidity there, but if you want to trade it, you can. And I told him over and over again, I hope you study this. I know I can make a lot of money at it. And he got smoked because he didn't do his homework. A lot of people are looking at things like cryptocurrency and they're interested in it, but they don't know what to do. They want to diversify. They want to put some money in this. They see the opportunity, but they don't know where to go and learn. Well, let me tell you, there is a place right now to do that. Tiki Tawari from the Palm Beach Letter has put together an amazing course for my listeners, and it really is an educational course across the board. You're going to learn everything, and this guy gets it. He gets stuff like that. He was a Wall Street guy, a hedge fund guy. He understands how these things work, and for a lot of people out there, they're curious about it. But education is key. His course is amazing. It's going to teach you how to profit from cryptos. Explains what cryptos are, how they work, which ones he recommends to buy, how to even buy them, where to use them. What are some of the things like blockchain? What does that stuff mean? He's going to teach you all of that and then some. It's a great way to get an education on something that I do believe is the future of investing. Take your opportunity today. Go to amazingcryptoclass.com, amazingcryptoclass.com, amazingcryptoclass.com. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
A bird in the hand is worth 140 on Twitter, so tweet your beak off at Chad Benson Show Twitter. And if instant gratification is your thing, hit Chad up on Instagram at Chad Benson. Your bird will thank you.
Now, I want you to listen to this, all right? It goes on for about 12, 14 seconds, and you're not going to hear talking or anything. What you are going to hear is, for all the things that we say about, cops nowadays, something goes wrong with a cop, we hear about the negativity 24/7, right? That's all we hear. How bad they are, how evil they are. We give it everybody who's a bully a badge, and we allow them to run wild and kill. This is a police officer who last week in Vegas got into a chase with two gang members who started firing at him. They had fired in public, and while the rest of the cops decided to back off, he couldn't allow that. He continued his chase, and they got into a shootout. Not while the cars were stopped. While he was driving, he shot through his windshield at the two guys he was chasing, and it is crazy.
Get down!
Now, that's from his camera right there. And it was his body cam. It was amazing. It really, it was incredible to watch. And it shows you how insane it is. And remember, they're human beings, right? I think we forget that. And it looked very much like, somebody said it looked like a Hollywood action movie. It did. There was 60 shots traded between the two. And Rene Nunez, 30, got out of his vehicle and tried to run upstairs into the school, but the door was locked, right? So as these shots are going on and all this stuff and this gun battle, and it was nasty gun battle. So and then Fidel Miranda, 23, and this all ended in his school parking lot, moved towards the passenger seat of the SUV after the shootout, and it was police fired on Miranda, and he later died at the scene. And it was awful. Now, both of these guys apparently are known gang members. Miranda had been previously convicted of conspiracy to commit robbery, arrested for robbery, kidnapping, grand larceny, prohibited possessions, possessions of a firearm, and narcotics. Nunez had been convicted 3 times. He was a 3-time felon. Also had been arrested for robbery with a deadly weapon, robbery, and grand larceny auto charges. It shows you, though, how real it is. And this was one guy. Police showed up after everything had the other police officers had showed up after everything took place. And when I watched this thing, and I'm telling you guys, you have a chance to just Google it today. Just put in Vegas shootout. It is really something, because at one time he's got both his hands on the gun. He's shooting through his own windshield, and he's driving with his knees. And that I just found to be like, wow, that right there is something. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Want to hear from you. All right. So question of the day. We're going to touch on that. Also want to talk about capitalism. The darling of the progressive movement in the Democratic Party says capitalism's dead. Is that true? Slow your roll. We'll touch on that straight ahead. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
If you look at things in the totality of this, you look at the history of meddling in elections, all of the nations that can spy do spy on each other, and all the nations that can meddle in elections do meddle in other elections.
Rand Paul yesterday, in many ways, was somewhat of a voice of reason. I don't get on the hysteria side. I was disappointed in the message I thought Trump could have sent yesterday, but I don't get into the treasonous talk or the crazy talk out there. I think a lot of people were disappointed because I think they expected more from the president. And behind closed doors, I don't know what him and Putin talked about. Nobody does. Many of these senators on both sides of the aisle, and the congressmen on both sides of the aisle, who were out there talking, you don't know what happened behind closed doors. You don't know. But I think the message that the American people, and I think that's it, yesterday was a miss for the PR sides of things. Yesterday was a miss for the PR side that I think could have helped him, not only his supporters, but send a message to our allies around the globe. And I think that's the thing that was missed. And on top of that, yes, you know what? We all meddle. We've talked about it. We all do things, right? Let me tell you something. You guys may not have liked Obama. He droned the hell out of people. He's droning the hell out of bad guys, left, right, and center. He had no idea, man. That guy's like, we have a fleet. Let's just fly him around and blow stuff up. Hands are clean. We'll do it from here. There's a lot of things that we do that, probably, if you thought about it and you looked at it, you thought, oh, man, that's not right, right? No wonder some people are, hate our guts so much. There's a bigger picture at play that not everybody sees. But yeah, everybody meddles. Everybody. You don't think we try to influence elections? Hell yeah, we do. But in saying that, you've got a cloud hanging over you. You've got a bunch of people on one side of the aisle that want you gone because they're still aching and paining and longing and yearning for the fact that Hillary should have been it. Right? We had the first black president and we had the first women president. Wow! And on the other side of the aisle, you've got people that are having to answer questions over and over again, who are having to defend you over and over again, and yesterday would have liked a little bit of clarity. And when you talk a big game and you don't feel like you back it up, that was the frustration. And then on a few occasions, you look like you even went against your own country, and that doesn't look strong. Do I buy into treasonous and all this stuff? No, I think it's a bunch of crap. Everybody slow your roll. But I think could have done more. Disappointed in it? But this is one of what will be many opportunities. If we were basing his entire presidency off yesterday, it's a fail. But there's 4 years, so we're going to move forward. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Today, all the social media folk are on, they're on the Hill, having to answer questions. And it's funny, the questions you're answering, because this goes to the topic that we have as our poll question today, which is essentially, are we giving the likes of Russia and their hackers and the people who try to influence too much credit? And they're on the Hill talking about that because social media was a huge part of that. And now they're on the Hill trying to figure out if they could, they got to protect us because we're not smart enough to understand.
We're committed to working with Congress to ensure the integrity of our elections. We've undertaken a wide range of approaches, including a suite of tools called Protect Your Election that we've been using in our outreach to campaigns.
Remember something just real quick. Inside of our elections, whether or not there are outside forces who are working against us, inside of our own country, people are trying to fool you. People are trying to influence you. So let's understand that as well. You've got people that on both sides of the aisle are trying to influence you. And many times, as we've seen, because negative works so much better than positive, even though if you look at psychology and all kinds of quantum theory, a positive thought, a positive thing is far more powerful than a negative. It's just easy to do negative, right? It's just way easier to do negative because many times, positive doesn't sell the way that you want it to. So both sides, how they influence isn't by saying, my guy, my gal, better ideas. My person, great ideas that are going to work for everybody. My person, moving the country forward. Instead, it's that person sucks. Let me tell you all the horrible things, and we're going to tell you a little bit about them, not the whole story, but enough to go, ew. That's how they win. So everybody plays a game of influence. But you've got all these people on the Hill who have these tools that they've given all of us for several reasons. Oh, because we can connect and it'll be great. And I can talk to my aunt, my uncle, and keep track of all these people. But at the same time, we're the end product for everybody. But we use these tools to try to influence our friends, do all of that stuff. And now they're like, well, hold on. We gave everybody these tools, but you guys aren't smart enough. Because you're not smart enough, and we've got to fix it. Because you could be influenced by a meme. And that's frustrating. That is absolutely frustrating. Here is the name of the day. I think we'll all agree this is a Twitter executive. His name is Mr. Nick Pickles.
We're able to now detect 95% of terrorist accounts on Twitter ourselves using our own technology and remove them quickly in 75% of cases before they have even tweeted.
Yeah, that's good. That's the kind of stuff that you would like to see. Right? We want to see the fake accounts. We want to see the number boosting accounts. We want to see all of these dormant accounts and all these people. Yeah, I got no problem with a lot of that stuff. I don't. But the fact that you have to be our gatekeeper and our babysitter is ridiculous. This is the nanny state, right? It's not the deep state. It's the uber nanny state. This is the thing where you're like, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm 11 now. I can walk on my own. I can ride my bike without, training wheels. No. You're not good enough to do that.
We resume consideration of the entirely imaginary narrative that social media companies are biased against conservatives. Companies, I should add, whose platforms were used to spread vicious Russian propaganda that helped to elect Donald Trump president.
Well, Russian propaganda, all of that stuff. They're biased against this. They're biased against that. But do you see, this is what happens. They drag all these people on the hill because everybody's still looking for answers. We don't want what happened in 2016 to happen again. Let's be real. We don't. But at the same time, let us do us. Give the people of the United States a little bit more credit that we aren't as influenced easily by this stuff as you'd like to think. Because here's the thing, and this is something else that I think people need to influencers are vitally important, right? A lot of times it's not about the piece that you see, whether it's true or not. It's the person showing you the piece, sending you the piece, doing that is going to have more of an influence because you're sending it within your circle of influence. But let them be nanny. Let them tell us what we should and shouldn't see. And that's why I said earlier, if you think that the Russians played such a massive role as to influence in such a way that that's the only reason he's president, then I'm here to tell you, from now on, all of our elections will always have an asterisk by it. And I don't think that's good. I don't think they played the part that many people thought they played. And I think we are taking a pebble in our shoe and we're now turning it in to a boulder.
Do you think that capitalism has failed to deliver for working class Americans or is no longer the best vehicle for working class Americans? Well, you say, unemployment is low, everything is fine, right? Well, unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their kids.
That is the darling of the left, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is now the face of this Democratic Party, and they are pushing her out everywhere. Her request for media and all this stuff is through the roof. And, she's echoing what a lot of young people think, that capitalism doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work for everybody. And I always point out that not everybody works. Even when you give them a job, not everybody works. And she believes that, it's not going to be here forever. And that right there is something I think when we look at a younger generation, they feel they identify more with her than with capitalism. Right? Now, they don't want a communistic way. They don't want any of that stuff. But what she wants is so much control that we become basically... Not you can be anything you want. You can your life is set up in a way that you can maybe edge up a little bit, but you're never going to fall too far, and everybody's just kind of a C+. And in the end, if put in the way that we see in Venezuela, it'll fall apart. I think they like to think that we're going to do something like Sweden, where everything is a right. We're going to give everything to everybody. We're going to tax everybody to the hilt, and we'll go from there. And it's ridiculous to think that. But capitalism, I'm here to tell you guys, whether you want to believe it or not, until we find something better, is arguably the greatest thing ever invented and come up with, ever. It has taken more people from poverty to wealth. It has gotten more people out of poverty. It has fed more people than anything else. Some people don't believe that because some people are always looking at what others have rather than focusing on what they should focus on. They don't stay in their own lane. They want to get in everybody else's lane to see what they're doing. But I think a lot of young people believe like she believes.
Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world.
Yeah. Well, until we find something better, it's going to. And think about this for a second. People will always rise. People will. There's an old saying that you give everybody a dollar bill inside of a room. After a while, you'll find 2 or 3 people that have most everybody else's dollars, and they're following them because that's the way it is. Capitalism will always rule. And out of that $100 that everybody gathers around in these few, they'll figure out how to make more of it, and it will eventually come down to others, and others will go. And some people won't. No matter how much you give them, no matter what opportunities you give them, they're not going to take advantage of those opportunities. And some people piss away their opportunities, and some people just aren't cut out for stuff, right? All of us have a friend or two or people we've known in our life that this is the best it's ever going to get for them. It doesn't get any better. Fair to middling at best. But capitalism will give people opportunities that nothing else will. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Trump says he's accepted that Russia meddled in the 2016 election, offers his full faith and support of the American Intelligence Agency. And this is some more of that trying to fix that mess yesterday that he created in Helsinki with Putin. Yeah, I mean, this is damage control, and it's we'll see what happens from here when it comes to this damage control. But like everything else, I think that we look at this and realize that if we're smart enough that this is Tuesday, by Friday, we'll be talking about something completely different. Because that's how fast our news cycle moves, not only with him, but just in today's world. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, ChadBenson. What if I told you get 40% off movie tickets? Access to supplemental things like dental plans to save you up to 60% off. How about 40% off theme parks, SeaWorld, Legoland, Six Flags, Disneyland, Disney World, discounts on travel, hotel booking, rental cars, all that stuff. And oh, by the way, a company that's going to work for you and advocate for things that you believe in, like Social Security reform, immigration reform, a real plan for immigration, Medicare, things like that. That's what AMAC is. AMAC is amazing. And here's what they're doing right now for all my listeners. I've partnered with them. If you're over 50, you can join for free. Period. Case closed. All you have to be is over 50. Join for free. They're not asking for anything. There's no gimmick. There's no cost. There's no tricks. Nothing. Not even going to ask you for a credit card. You join for day. You get all of these benefits right here. Plus, you have a company that shares your values about this country moving forward the way that you think this country should, and it doesn't cost you a penny. It's simple and easy. All you have to do is go to amac.us/Chad. That's it. amac.us/Chad or call 888-355-1668. 888-355-1668. It's simple. It's easy. You will not be disappointed. No gimmicks, no games, no credit card. Free membership. Go to amac.us/Chad. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I got your useless fact of the day straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here. Just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
Oh. Nancy Pelosi. She's interesting, right? She's a fun character.
Trump's eagerness to sell out America proves the Russians must have something, personally, politically, or financially, on President Trump.
Wonder what it is. I wonder. What if they've got something on Obama and Trump is like, man, I can't let that get out. What if it's like, look, we're ready to release the aliens. Trump's like, oh, God. Can't let that happen. I've been told that's the one thing I can't talk about. Like, I want to talk about everything. I'm like, you know me. I can't get my mouth shut. But All right. So whatever you want, just let's not do this anymore, right? All right. Maybe that's it. Oh, Chad, you're being silly. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Sacha Baron Cohen show. The ratings, yeah, they let's just say they didn't knock it out of the park, and I think a lot of people were worried or wondered if this was going to be something big, and the reality is it didn't do so hot, right? For all of the clamoring, for all of this stuff, it really didn't rock it out of the park, and who knows what will happen, right? Who knows if this thing is done and dusted or if they're going to put more money into it moving forward, because it's not a cheap project, that's for sure. So I haven't seen it. I might watch it if it comes on, and but I don't go out of my way to watch any show, as you know, if you listen to the Chad Benson Show. Your useless info of the day. Dimension 6 was the original name of Nike, and somebody thought, that's just an awful name for a shoe. Great name for a band, but a bad name for a shoe. Have yourself a good rest of your Taco Tuesday. Keep it right here. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.